something with you that the Lord gave me revelation on. I'm happy to be here and a little tired from travel, a little hoarse, but I came to preach.
Yeah. Preach.
I came to hear word, but I feel like
Preach it.
I feel like preaching. Sister Deborah, if you can give me some highs, I just need some highs. Give me a little highs in here because I'm a little raspy. Go to Psalms. I want you to look at Psalms 42. And get Psalms 42. I'm going to go ahead and give you my subject today, a subplot and a subscript.
Come on.
Plot and a subscript. And you will look at the 42nd Psalms. You will note there's a subscript there. And if you'll go to Psalms 44, go to Psalms 44. There, Psalms 44. And you will see that there's a subscript there.
Yes, it is.
Go to Psalms 45. Above verse number 1, you will see that there's a subscript there. 46, 47, 48, and 49 all have a subscript. And what the subscript does, it tells you who wrote the hymn. So as a point of contact, will you just tap somebody on your right or on your left and help me repeat my subject again now that we have revelation of what the subscript is. Tell them, Pastor's subject today is a subplot and a subscript. Lady Grayson, in a few months, will be coming upon the 10th anniversary of one of the most devastating earthquakes to hit Haiti. In 2010, an earthquake unlike they had ever seen before hit the tiny island. 12 days after the earthquake in Haiti, the Haitian government called off all search for persons believed to have been buried alive. Instead, they would now change their focus and their attention and their efforts on those who had been rescued and those who had been left homeless. Upon hearing that, the UK, the United Kingdom, decided that they would return all of their disaster relief team members back to Europe because the search and rescue efforts are now over.
Come on here.
At the time of the announcement, Mother Bonner, 132 persons had been pulled alive from the rubbish. Some 200,000, Mother Jeffries, had fled the city. Sister Charlene, some 600,000 had been left homeless after the decision to cease and desist had been made, Pastor. The government, it said that 62 rescue teams ignored the decision to cease and desist.
Come on, Pastor.
One of the teams was reported to have said that no matter who else decided to give up and refuse to quit, they were not going to quit. And I'll have somebody in here that recognize that this ain't for everybody, but I'm looking for at least 6 people who refuse to give up, who refuse to quit on others that even the government has said and deemed hopeless.
Come on.
Lord, help me preach.
Preach it here. Preach.
On that same day that the government, Brother Henry, said that it was over, it was now a cease and desist order. On that same day that the government declared all search and rescue efforts was over, a young man by the name of Wismon was found buried underneath the rubble of a supermarket that he had worked for for over 5 years. When they pulled the young man out of the rubble, a Swiss television reporter asked him how he was doing. And I like his reply, Mother. The Lord said, he said, I'm doing great. I managed to survive because I worked in a supermarket. And as a result of me working in the supermarket, I survived with the stuff that I was buried in.
Preach it here.
Some of you have been buried in a quagmire mess. It appears that it's designed to kill you. But when you tell somebody on your right or on your left and tell them, I survived the smallest stuff, I was God help me preach in this house.
Preach it here.
Now, it was later reported that for most of that day, it was later reported for most of that day that his brother had been forced to stay away from the devastated area. In fact, they said he was delusional and he was very disrupted. In fact, one person reported that he was wild and acting like a wild man because for several hours prior to them finding Wismond buried under the rubble, he had been shouting to people, I hear my brother's name. I hear my brother's voice crying from beneath the rubble. And finally, because he refused to stop shouting, people decided to check one more time.
My God.
See, every now and then, Pastor, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Pastor? Every now and then when you hear God, you got to ignore what folks say.
Come on here.
See, I need to come a little closer. Let me help you. When God speaks to you, ain't nobody got to hear it but you. Touch somebody. You got to trust the God in you. You got to trust the Holy Ghost in you. But because he refused to give up, they finally decided to look one more time. And finally, because he refused to stop shouting, they checked again and discovered that his ears had not deceived him. I wish somebody would just get happy and just look at somebody that looks better than them. And if you can't find nobody that looks better than you, just find somebody that's looking in your direction. And tell a neighbor your ears did not deceive you. Tell them what God said. He may open your eyes. Because God is not a man that he should lie. Neither is he the son of man that he should repent. Somebody help me say what God said, what God said, what God said.
You preaching in here?
His brother, get this now. His brother refused to stop shouting. I hear my brother's voice.
Preaching here.
And because his brother stopped refusing to believe the government cease and desist orders, because he could hear his brother crying from underneath the rubbish. His brother's life was saved. What are you saying? Every now and then,
Preaching here.
you got to cry out for your unsaved love. Every now and then, you got to open your mouth and cry out for your son that's strung out on crack. Say, God, I know he's out of his mind, but bless both. God, I don't even know where he is right now, but save him. Every now and then, you got to cry out for folk that can't cry out for themselves.
You preaching in here?
You got to shout out for
Whoa, God.
And do I have at least one person in here this morning? I know it's a little quiet right now, but do I have at least one person in here this morning that's got somebody that you need to cry out for? And you're willing to open your mouth and shout until the person on your row says you can lose it. You're willing to open your mouth and cry, shout for your mother, your daddy, your cousin, for your son, your daughter, and to the